Yeah, there we go.
All
Hey,
right.
hi, Mr. Whalen. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Is it really? We'll see about that
Yes.
in an hour or so.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm here to interview you about your, let's say, your career's pivotal role. No, I'm kidding. Yes, the eminently unflappable Winslow of Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
Um, that was back in 1999. I'm sure you've gone on to do many other things. But I wanted to start like really at the beginning. The game came out in 1998, so I imagine it was shot around 1997 ish. You
Yeah.
start, yeah. So, what was your career like up to Black Dahlia?
Well, it's interesting. Right before I got Black Dahlia, I did the regional premiere of a play called Angels in America by Tony Kushner. And that was the first production outside of Broadway. We did it at the Alley Theater in Houston, Texas. Then I went to Europe with it for the Biennale Festival in Venice, Italy, for a couple weeks. Yeah, and so did that. Got back. I shot a movie for HBO, and then the audition for this came up, and I was in LA, and I got cast. I went back to the Pittsburgh area, and we filmed it.
Yeah, simple as that.
Simple as that.
Well, what was the casting process like? Was it like you get called in for a
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
and
I
did a
got I
screen
got
test?
called in, auditioned for a couple scenes of it, and then the director, I think Eric Trowell and
Yep.
Patrick Friedman, the writer, uh, they seemed to be very pleased, and then they said, "We'll let you know," and then it worked out. But it's
Well,
so funny, trolls. After I shot this film, uh, I didn't know anybody, right? I didn't know any of these actors. Subsequently, over the last 25 years, I've worked with probably a dozen of them in other projects.
the Black
Very
Dahlia
strange.
curse.
Exactly. So it's
But
all
in
interconnected.
yeah, in a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah, I understand you just did play with Darren Elliker.
Yep. Yep. And Darren and I have done several plays, and we still speak fondly of the time we had on Black Dahlia.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So, was there anything in particular that interested you in doing a CD-ROM game versus a movie, or was this just it's a gig is a gig?
I, a gig is a gig, but I found that at least the character that I was playing really intriguing, and I wanted to make it. I remember telling the director, I said, I think this guy, yeah, he's kind of smarmy, but I wanted to make sure that any time that he's doing anything nefarious, he does it with a glee, an
Yes.
enjoyment of it, and that's what I wanted to bring to it, and you know, and that's what I remember working on. And they seemed to, the director and the writers, like, oh, this is good. This is, you know what I mean? They would be
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
this is interesting. I
Oh,
wouldn't say good. Let's say interesting.
oh yeah. No, but I really love watching him because he just seems like he's having the time of his life, regardless of what he's doing. Um,
Exactly.
and it's just and there's that little glint in his eye, that little smile that cracks, and there's one time when he's just shooting a guy, several just empties an entire clip in him, and you can just see the smile getting bigger and bigger. It's a magical time in
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
So, do you think like having that sense of humor helps sell a villain better? Like he seems to be having such a good time doing it.
Well, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that, when you're playing a sociopath or whatever, uh, 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 finding the humor makes it a little more, at least for the actor, for me, a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
A little bit more like, okay, I'm not going to bring this home with me, but I could, it was something for me much easier to tap into than to put the character out there in the distance and kind of bring it closer that
Mm.
I could play it, for several weeks, however long we shot. I think it was like 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's surprisingly short actually, because I cut the thing
Really
together
short,
and
really
it's
short.
4 hours long, and
Yeah.
I didn't even get all of it in. Um,
And honestly, Trolls, and I think at least all my scenes with Darren, I think we did it all in one take. One take
Really?
here, one take there.
Wow.
Darren and I have a very similar work ethic. We don't want to waste people's time. Uh, we just kept going through, and the director was like, "I think we got it. Let's move on." Like,
Was
great.
was there like rehearsal time, or did you just get the
Not
script,
really. Yeah,
quick read through, and let's go?
yeah, yeah. Because we were both very prepared.
Yeah.
Uh, you know.
Yeah, that's what I heard from Patrick. Like Darren would show up and he had like a million lines to learn and he knew all of them. And you have a lot of scenes with Darren, like
Yeah.
talking in your office and stuff, and it's all
Yep.
like some of the lines are really long and some of them like switches emotional intensity almost on a dime. Like
Yep.
you go from being like very affable, kind of almost smug in a way to
Yeah.
suddenly then it goes like, do you have any proof of that?
Yeah. 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 Totally. Totally. And that's the fun of it. Finding those layers. You
Mm.
know.
Yeah, because Winslow strikes me like when you see him for the first time, you're supposed to think, okay, this is kind of a bumbling idiot kind of guy. He's wearing a suit in this grimy whiskey bar, trying to blend in, and oh my god, what is wrong with him?
Hmm.
And later, it's you start to. I mean, eventually by the end of it, he's gone completely off the deep end.
Hmm.
But there's this gradual realization that he's just putting on this facade of being a junior incompetent agent.
Yeah, yeah, and
Uh,
I definitely and that was definitely on my mind as I was working on the character. How can this guy be so disarming uh, and make people think that he's basically harmless and just a not pompous, but like you said, smug.
mm,
And then you don't, when you finally see him do something, I believe to the character Von Hess, where he shoots him,
yeah.
it's like, oh, wait a second, I was wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy's a real duplicit son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah,
that's really the first time you see him go absolutely mental. Because up until then, um, there's that scene in the sewer where you run into the secret lair and and
yeah,
and Winslow just goes, "Oh God, I can't be here. I have to run off," and and it's all a front, but you don't
yeah,
realize that until much
yeah,
later. So
yeah.
I kind of want to ask you about his mannerisms. We already talked about the smile and the
Hmm.
winking, calling everyone sport and stuff like that. So what were your inspirations for that? I jokingly remarked that he kind of comes across as a cross between a used car salesman and Ted Bundy.
Yeah, yeah.
What were the inspirations for those little mannerisms?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I wanted to. There was when I was in uh, my first year of college, I took a job for Vector Marketing to sell knives, and this guy, the manager, was did everything with a smile, and it was like the worst product, and I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't do it, and you know, so that really hit me when I was working on this character. It's like basically, Winslow's a salesman
Yeah.
to get people to believe what he wants. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And not let them even have a thought of how nefarious his real motivations are.
mm,
So yeah, it's funny that you brought up the salesman thing because I definitely wanted to use that.
yeah.
How can people con people so easily to
Yeah,
make
and
them
his
think one thing or not the other?
Yeah, and his masks never really drops, even when he's going completely insane by the end and tearing his eye out and all that
Yeah,
stuff. It's like it's not like his mask suddenly dropped, and you get the feeling that this is how he's been the entire time. You just didn't notice.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's right. You never know what's happening in front of you until you know,
Yeah.
whoa, wait a second, it was there all along, right? Yeah,
Yeah. And it's he's so wonderful to watch. I'm sorry, I'm gonna gush a little bit.
yeah,
I love every scene that he said because it would have been so easy to just play him as this slimy, grubby, hateful little shit.
yeah,
And you brought a bit of charm to him, so it's almost impossible to not like the guy in a certain way.
yeah,
You kind of
yeah.
wish, oh,
Well, it's funny, because I haven't seen those scenes since I saw some of the stuff you've done, and I forgot, and then I realized that wow, you know, it makes me think of one of my favorite actors is Christopher Waltz, who was in Inglorious Bastards. Has
Yeah.
the same kind of joy, even though it's absolutely horrific what he's
Mm.
doing,
Yeah.
you know. But you actually like, I don't want him to get the other Nazis.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's that's actually a really good comparison. Yes, it is kind of like Christoph Waltz in *Inglorious Bastards*. He's
mhm.
also you cannot take your eyes off of him. Again, I'm gushing here, but
Yeah, yeah,
I just spent like a week cutting this shit together, so it's like every once in a while, I just rewind back, and I just want to see that scene in The Office where you and Pearson have a little. Uh, oh, which reminds me, you and Darren really seem to have like really great chemistry on screen, possibly even more so, and I hate to say this, than Darren and his supposed love interest in the game.
yeah.
So how did you guys click so well?
Well, I think immediately from the first day of filming, and I'm going to gush about Darren. I was like, wow, this guy, he's bringing it, you know. And I'm like, okay, you know, how can I, in my character and Dave, kind of disarm him a bit, make him feel a little less in control. Like,
Yeah.
wait a second, you know what I mean? So it was kind of a fun little game that him and I had going on, which is it's very seductive. So it's interesting that you say that it was like more than the love interest, you know. Like I remember at one point, uh, and I remember doing this in rehearsal, not rehearsal, the first take, and I put my arm on his shoulder almost too much,
Yeah.
almost like a lover would,
Yeah.
after just meeting for the first time. And Darren went,
Yes.
and from that point on, I'm like, okay, I know my in with this character because he is the hero, and uh, my character is not. You
Yeah.
know
But yeah, there is that crossing of boundaries in a way,
exactly.
and I love that you guys played off of that. So you're trying to similarly like put him at ease and unnerve him in certain places,
Yeah.
because his character is supposed to be the sort of naive green agent who doesn't really suspect a thing until it's way too late,
Yep.
and your character really just knows exactly how to play this guy, which
Yeah.
is but your character also has some interesting flaws. Like there's that whole scene where Winslow is basically just banging his secretary in the other room.
Totally.
So
Totally.
the dude just has no scruples whatsoever.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Everybody has a vice, trolls. Everybody has a vice.
I think Winslow has several.
Yes.
Which okay, so other character traits, and this goes for pretty much every character in the game. But there's
Yeah.
an awful lot of smoking going on.
Yeah.
Like everyone has smoke, but Winslow's pick of smoking is particular because that's a plot point later in the game that he smokes these black Turkish cigarettes.
Yeah.
What were they exactly?
Oh, they were kind of like a clove cigarette. So less nicotine, but kind of like, because I'm kind of allergic to smoke. So we were doing like a clove thing. So it was like, so I started using it as almost like a prop for Winslow,
Yeah.
just to another way to let Jim Pearson think that I'm above it all, when in fact I know exactly what I'm doing
Yeah.
with the cigarettes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And he
that's what I wanted to do with it.
and I love that it becomes because in the end you realize that Winslow has basically just been leading Pearson into the final ritual scene and all that
Right.
final victim, but you don't realize you think you're hunting Winslow when really he's just pulling you on a string. And one of those hints is just leaving black cigarettes everywhere.
Yeah.
So you think the guy's being a mess and not covering his trails or everything, but yeah,
Yeah. But
beautiful.
it's definitely Hansel and Gretel leaving the breadcrumbs, so
Yeah.
someone will follow it.
You say you're allergic to smoke or semi-allergic to smoke, and
Yeah.
everybody fucking smokes in that movie. Hey,
Yeah.
first F-bomb, yay!
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that set must have smelled pretty funny by the end.
Yeah. Like I said, our time was so fast on it. We didn't do many takes, so it'll be done, gone,
Yeah.
move on, moving on, moving on. you
Oh,
know.
cool.
So it was a great it was I remember it being just a fun set, you
Oh,
know.
that was actually one of my questions.
Yeah,
What kind of set was it? Like loose and fun, or very
very loose
regimented?
and fun. Kind of like a controlled chaos in a way, because
Yeah.
it's a massive undertaking. And I knew immediately that to help it, feel spontaneous and alive, uh, I need to be as prepared as possible so these guys could work. Because the last thing I think now that I realized early on, but now I know is like when you get to the set, man, they want you to be the character now. You know what I mean? There's no time because it's more of a lighter's medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so you want to just be able to have the confidence and the work to hit it and quit it and keep moving on.
Yeah.
And I
Which
think
must
they
sorry.
responded to that. The
Yeah.
crew, the cast, and the director.
Which must have been a challenge because you're shooting the entire thing on blue screen, so there is
Oh,
no environment to act off of. Was that
yeah.
Did your background in theater like help you with imagining the
Absolutely,
surroundings?
it did. That's a great question, Charles. Yeah, absolutely. I remember doing the sewer scene, and I was just walking, and you had to like, oh, okay, I did the
Yeah.
old acting technique. Okay, you're in a blank room. Okay, now there's a ravine, and you're gonna slip, and you got to do this, and then you add in the sensory of the stink and the smell of the water, and a rat maybe crawling around the floor, and all you have is the actor's imagination. So yeah, it was like being in a sandbox and making it as real as possible, just like you do as kids. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and doing a period piece obviously also means that you got to wear cool costumes and handle cool props. Are there any like particular ones you like maybe wish you'd snuck off with after
oh
the
yeah,
wrap?
I tell you what, I think in one of the black and white torture scenes, I had high boots. I'm like, these boots are cool, man. They are cool, And then so when I saw that yesterday, the way you rendered it, which is a tremendous job, by the way.
I
Uh,
think Eric did most of the job, if I'm
yeah,
perfectly
yeah, but it
honest.
was like,
But thank
oh
you.
wow, I forgot that outfit. I dug that outfit, you know,
Mm.
and with the whip and the crops, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite scene from Winslow, to be perfect. Not that I'm a sadist or anything, but it's especially the last bit when, the dude's hand comes up and Winslow's got the meat cleaver and he just goes,
Oh yeah. Now I got to be honest. I will take 100% credit for that.
yeah.
That was definitely my idea. I said, what if all you see is his hand and it's just me putting it down? And the director goes, huh? I'm like, just film it. And
That
they
is
did
my
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
favorite Winslow moment because
yeah,
that's the moment you realize, no, there's no going back for this guy. You can't reason with him. This man is
yeah, yeah.
deep end.
And I remember I used the butcher machete, whatever that is,
Yeah.
and I remember like uh, I pretended as if I was stuck in bone
Yeah.
and brought it up, and I remember one of the crew guys going, "Oh, that is hilarious," because that was all there was. It was just me on a piece of wood, and I thought, "I'll do
Yeah.
that." You know what I mean?
And someone with a squirt gun underneath because you get blood splattered after
Yeah,
the
that's
first take.
exactly what it was. They had like a little red dye, we splattered the knife, and I brought it up, and
Yeah.
they did that.
That's I think that's honestly my favorite Winslow scene. There are many to choose from, but that one is just it's almost like Heath Ledger's Joker VHS scenes where he's like running around and videotaping himself doing all these horrible things. It just and Winslow just seems like he's having so much fun.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
oh shit!
Well,
What was it?
I
Oh, sorry.
tried to. I mean, if you're not having fun, man, right? Why do it?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I remember what I was going to say. So your character also has the most complicated piece of prosthetic makeup, which is the bit at the end where he rips his
Yeah,
eyeball out.
yeah. That was something. That was something. They made that, and they had this like a circle thing, and then there's a black thing, and you couldn't see, of course, and then I had to
Neither could
pull out
he.
a fake eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one take. We did that one take because I knew like we got to get it right the first time because this shit sucked having it on my face. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. So I just started, whatever the gobble, blah 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 blah
Oh
blah, rip
yeah.
it off. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there's one of my other favorite Winslow moments is he picks up the skull and goes full on Hamlet, and at one point he kisses it, and then he
yeah,
just looks at Pearson, and then he licks it for
yeah,
no fucking reason whatsoever,
yeah.
just to unnerve
Well,
him.
and that's one of the things I really wanted, Troll. I wanted to be, I wanted to be like a sexual thing between these guys that was interesting. Because listen, I just his girlfriend, the blonde
Yeah.
girl, I just, who knows what we did with her, right?
Mm,
Uh, so I think that, I mean, that's one thing I wanted to make sure that at least if no one knew, I knew that he likes to dominate people, and part of that is, sexual.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was there like when you first read the character, what was your like take on him? Is it um uh their relationship between you and Pearson? Does Winslow like really like him, or is he just using him for the end goal? So like some sort of connection there.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to make sure that, oh, this is like a good challenge. This goody two person, can I win him over to my way of thinking in a way,
Yeah.
into like not to the dark side, of course, but to use a Star Wars analogy, something that's, you know, how do you corrupt the incorruptible? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
part of that is through seduction. I really believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
And in every way, humor. Uh, how do we disarm someone who has an idea of how he wants to do his business? You know?
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm glancing over my notes because I'm not a professional interviewer here.
Yeah. No worries.
Let's see. We actually gone through most of the questions on my list, which is
Perfect.
pretty impressive. There's one of those really bad fluff questions. What was the most fun or memorable day on the set you can recall? And this is like 30 years
Yeah,
ago.
I think one of the most memorable days is when I was uh, using a whip and hitting this one actor.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make sure I wasn't hitting him hard, like pull it back, using my stage combat training as an actor. But at one point, the guy said, "Damn, shit, that hurt." And they said, "Oh," I said, "Oh man," and then I felt so bad. I said, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry." And I think Eric, the director, or someone said, let's put something in his jacket so Dave can just wail on this guy." So it was like, so pa pa, what I
Yeah.
mean? Anyway, that was a fun day, and I think the first day on the set is always a great day, like the first day of school. You know what I mean? Like all that excitement and the butterflies. You know what I mean?
Mm.
About, oh, okay, I'm actually going to say all these lines I've been working on. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Because,
cool.
like you said early on in the interview, some of those scenes are long. Some of those scenes are like 5 minutes, and to do a 5 minute scene on one take, get my point of view, then Darren's point of view, and then I mean that required a lot of concentration, and to make it look fun and as effortless as possible was interesting. And but I also think that uh, some of the writing in the scenes were terrific. Really interesting. And fun to play, which
Yeah.
was a testament to Patrick's writing.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be glad to hear that. Yeah. Was the movie shot chronologically? That's the way you say that, right? Yeah,
Boy, I
chronologically.
can't remember that. I I think for the most part it was. Darren, of course, probably had to do little less chronologically because of all the massive little scenes that he had to negotiate. And so at time and to schedule that many actors, so I'm sure that they went in and out of page here, scene 5 here, scene 3 tomorrow, scene 12, one day, scene,
Yeah.
8 the day after.
I suppose that's one of the things that blue screen makes slightly easier is that you don't have to
Yeah,
rebuild the
yeah,
sets and all that stuff.
yep, 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 yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's got to be 30 to 40 people in the cast.
Oh
So
yeah.
what an undertaking for these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. And that's the thing I really wanted to do at the end of that 4 hour cut is because when the game ends, when you reach the ending of the game, it just says the end and then it boots you off to the main menu. There's no credits at the end. So I got out the manual and manually typed in the entire credits list, put
Oh
it in.
wow.
So
Oh
you
good.
guys actually got your credit at the end.
Oh great. That's great. I have to look through it. I mean, Darren sent me a part of the rendering, and I watched some of it that you did, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen this in ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of the things I've never saw ever.
Yeah, so
You
I'm
know.
guessing you didn't play. I mean, every interviewer asks everyone who's been in games, "Did you ever play it?" And they always say no. But I'm gonna ask anyway. You ever play the game?
No,
No.
no.
It is
I've never been a gamer.
no. It is incredibly difficult. I played it as when as I was 19 at the time it came out, and I played it for maybe an hour or so, and I got absolutely stuck just after your character's introduction in the bar.
Hmm.
The game is just absurdly difficult. So
Wow.
the only way I could get through, and it's 8 CDs. 8 CDs is a pretty big game, probably the biggest game of its time
Hmm.
because of all the video. So I was sitting there with disc 1 in the drive. There's 7 other discs waiting for me, and I'm like, I can't get past this one puzzle.
Right.
So, but
Right.
that was also it. Also made it kind of fascinating because I wanted to see what else was coming up. Um, and I'm glad I
Yeah.
did. I'm glad I stuck with it.
Yeah. 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 So I mean, I wish there was a way to, you know, uh, play it now. Watch it now on a different, the computer. You know what I mean? I don't know
Mm.
if there is, but
Well, that's what I wanted to. That's why I wanted to do the 4 hour movie because not only is the game brutally difficult, but that's just assuming you get it to run, which is also a puzzle in and of itself. So,
right,
so rather than in the retrospective I'm going to do, rather than suggest that people go out and play the game for yourself, that's kind of a sadistic thing to do, honestly, because there are a lot of steps to even get that far. So that's why I just cut the whole movie together so people can go, okay, I can just watch the story.
right,
And then if they feel masochistic, they can go and install the game for themselves.
right.
Um, I guess final question:
Yeah.
if you were offered the chance to act in another CD-ROM media or digital media versus, I know you do a lot of movie, stage work, and so forth,
Hmm.
but if you were offered the chance to participate in another multimedia product, would you say yes?
Well, if the money's right. Yeah, that's honestly one of my favorite lines from any movie is M. Emmett Walsh in Blood Simple.
Yeah.
And the guy says, he goes, would you be willing to do this? He goes, well, if the money's right, I'll do it. He goes, well, if the money's right and it's legal, I'll do it. And the guy says, well, I can't say it's particularly legal. He goes, well, if the money's right, I'll do it. But no, I would do it, of course. I like
Yeah.
to act. I enjoy it. And, yeah, of course.
Stupid question, honestly. I was just trying to find an easy
Yeah,
question for the end.
yeah,
But I'm
no,
very glad you did a little Winslow there at the end for my benefit. Thank you very
exactly.
much. Thank you very much
Exactly.
for that.
Yeah.
So all that's left really is if you want to tell the YouTube audience anything about current projects, where to find you, stuff like that, if they want to
Well,
keep an eye out.
I mean, yeah, I got a couple things coming up. You can go to my website, which is www.david-whalen-actor.com. I try to list some things here and there, and maybe I'll relist Black Dahlia. As
As
an
the
actor, you kind of like, you kind
yeah.
of put things away, move up, and try to get more recent. But looking back, uh, 27 years ago when we shot it, it's like, wow, that was a crazy time.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. The end credits roll there. I kind of snuck you up the credits list because you didn't deserve to be that far down. So
Oh, I don't even wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
yeah, I mean they. Yeah, I know union rules. Dennis Hopper gets first credit even though he's only in the
Yeah.
game for 10 minutes. Terry Garr gets also
Oh,
a
yeah.
ten
You
minute
got to have
cameo.
those names to sell it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But you deserved close to top billing, in my opinion, anyway. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Well, appreciate it.
th- thank you very much for your time.
Oh, what a
Um,
pleasure, Trolls, to chat with you over in, where are you?
I'm in
Norway?
Denmark.
Oh, you're in
Denmark.
Denmark.
So all that Norse roots. Here's the thing, right? I live like 10 minutes away from a Viking museum, like a proper Viking museum, because
Wow.
Denmark, Norway, Sweden, the whole Scandinavia thing. We were the Vikings. We made life miserable for everyone else. So we got Viking museums, and I swear, Black Dahlia has more fucking Norse runes in it than that entire museum. I am
That's
so
hilarious.
so sick of Norse runes after playing the game.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. Well, good. So is your 4 hour movie, is it done now? Complete?
Yes, in fact, I just received the HD upscale yesterday. I uploaded it to YouTube today, and I'm going to hold off on releasing it until I, cut together my retrospective and whatever these interviews are going to turn into, kind of like a
Great.
DVD extra kind of featurette thing, I
Cool.
suppose. But I'd be happy to send you a link to the HD
Oh,
upscale.
please do. I'd love to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else are you interviewing?
Well, so far we've got Patrick and we got Darren. Sorry,
Oh, great.
my accent just slipped there.
Yep.
Darren and Patrick's also trying to put me in touch with the lead designer, Steve Glasstetter, and
Hmm.
and the guy who did the 3D compositing, Henry Borasso, I believe, who had a hell of a time keying you guys in, camera movements and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Pretty
that,
impressive what those guys did
oh yeah,
with that technology that many years ago.
oh yeah, and honestly, Black Dahlia has, and this is not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. It does have some of the best, like visual compositing of FMV, because FMV games tended to be like static camera on a tripod, go. Black Dahlia has a lot of moving around, very cinematic quality.
Yeah.
And the absolute tragedy is that when you played the game back in 1998, computer processors were so slow that they had to interlace the video. There are black lines alternating throughout the whole thing. So it's low resolution, and it's even lower because only every other line is being rendered on screen, and you go a
Wow.
bit wobbly eyed after. So luckily, modern computers, you can patch that out. But
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
so I
It's
expect.
funny. I remember about 15 years ago, I was doing something somewhere, and uh, someone said to me, I'm not kidding, said, "Hey, were you in a game called Black Dahlia?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, that game is awesome." I'm like, "Really? Okay." I wouldn't know. I never saw it, so it was
it's
funny.
It's beautiful, but again, it's not James Cameron level upscale. We had
Yeah.
pixel sauce to work with,
Yep.
so that's we had a little film grain just to smooth it out. But yeah, it's I don't know if Eric or any of the lads at Take Two still have the original. You shot it on video, I would imagine.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because using film cameras for like 100% blue screen work would have been a bit overkill, I suppose.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know if that exists. We used video extracted directly from the game files and upscaled those, cut them together. So
Cool.
I'll
Cool.
happily
Cool.
send you a link. Thank you so much for your time. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure,
Yeah.
and
Pleasure, trolls.
have a
Enjoy the Viking land, and
well, yeah.
I'm going to be enjoying some Minnesota Viking football this weekend, which is great.
Well, we don't even have to us. Football is the little checkered ball that you
Yeah,
punt through
yeah,
big
yeah,
nets. So,
yeah.
well, I wish you the best in the
Thanks.
future, and thank you again for your time.
Thanks again. Thanks, trolls. Bye bye.
Winslow,